This lady spells it out so perfect it's not even funny. About the ball waxing trans woman. Man. It's a man. It's not a woman. It's a man. If you got a three-piece set, you're a man. I don't care what you think. Reality shows what you are. You can pretend in your mind whatever you want, and that's fine. Who gives a shit? But the reality is you're still a frickin' man. I don't care how you feel on the inside. Let's listen to what she has to say.
What we're seeing happening here in the BC Human Rights Tribunal is an attack upon personal liberties, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the ability to just have to say what I believe. What's happening is that Canadians' speech is being compelled. You must say what the state wants you to say, under pain of being fined, under pain of being sent a letter, being fired, right? So they're compelling your speech that you must say that this person is a woman. Whether or not you believe it, you must say it. We're also finding here that you have no right to your own labor, right? That's another thing. You're being compelled. You must do what the state tells you to do. You must wax this person's genitals, whether or not you want to.
It's been 15 women.
Has lost their business.
Okay, so we're going to go to this next section here where she ends this. Where are you? She spells it out, like I said, perfect. Here we go.
But I do insist on physical reality. So people need to understand that this whole misgendering thing is a bit of a misnomer.
You know, it was really interesting to me listening to it all was sort of the very planned and strategic way that this person went after these beauticians, these estheticians, that they were telephone recording. These person didn't even know they're being recorded, right? Recording conversations. People are just trying to make a living in this country, right? We're taxed to death, and yet now these people are going to have to probably. I mean, if I was going to be a betting person, I would say that the ruling will come down, and these people are going to be found guilty. Right. That would not surprise me one bit. And it's a slippery slope. There, you see, we're standing here beside the police, right?
Pay attention.
How far away are we before we get picked up and taken off to re-education camps or the gulag by instruments of the state because we refuse to speak the way that they have deemed appropriate? And where does this end? This is absolute craziness. People can't believe this is happening. Yeah. But here we are. So I'm just saying, listen, we need to stop right now, okay? We need to defend our individual liberties, to defend our individual rights, or all of us are going to be ending up in this police paddy wagon sooner than later.
So, what she was talking about is absolutely the truth. Let's go back over this.
Personal liberties, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the ability to just have to say what I believe. What's happening is that Canadians' speech is being compelled. You must say what the state wants you to say, under pain of being fined, under pain of being sent a letter, being fired, right? So they're compelling your speech that you must say that this person is a woman. Whether or not you believe it, you must say it. We're also finding here that you have no right to your own labor, right? That's another thing. You're being compelled. You must do what the state tells you to do. You must wax this person's genitals, whether or not you want to.
It's been 50.
So, here's the funny part about all this. Is what she was saying, they're going to get she's going to get her way, you watch, because the loony courts, it's into tribalism now. It's not about protecting individuals. And the precise reason why government is actually even there is to protect the individuals from the majority, the group, the tribe, from doing exactly what's going on right now. So let's listen to something else here that's some reality, some serious freaking reality, some more reality in this insanity that we call reality. So here we go.
Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. George W. Bush spent the first 9 years of his retirement saying almost nothing in public, and good for him. It's a dignified and restrained posture that is long-standing tradition among former chief executives. But nobody's staying silent in 2018, so President Bush is now speaking out, and he has a cause, seeking amnesty for millions of illegal immigrants that his administration allowed into this country. The context for his latest remarks was a speech that Bush was giving in the United Arab Emirates. That's an authoritarian Islamic petrostate. Alongside him as he spoke was Michael Milken, the convicted felon and financier. During his remarks, the former president said he wants immediate amnesty for DACA recipients. Quote, "America's their home," he said. "Congress has got to get it fixed." Bush explained that we must give citizenship to illegal immigrants as a reward for providing low-wage labor to companies who don't feel like paying American wages. Quote, "There are people willing to do jobs that Americans won't do," the former president said.
Which is bullshit.
"We ought to say thank you and welcome them."
You ever noticed, though, he was talking about the guy who was convicted. It's amazing that these guys, they hang around criminals, but we don't bat an eye at them, especially the ones that are really, I voted for him, I'm in love with the guy, and yeah. It's like idolism, you know that? Like it's a freaking deity or something. And that's what's wrong with people today. It's like with the current POTUS, the fervor that is going with him is amazing. It's just as bad as the other side if you really think about it. There's a word I'm looking for. I can't get it in my head out of it. But when you start like worshiping these people, which you are, there's a whole cult of people behind each party, each person, and everything because they believe in them wholeheartedly. So anyways, let's finish this up.
Well, this is the magical world of our elites, people who've never had to worry about how illegal immigrants might affect their kids' schools, or the crime rate in their gated neighborhoods, or the social cohesion of their communities, because they're insulated from all of that. Instead, they repeat diversity is our strength 3 times like a spell and assume the best will happen. The rest of us, as the former president noted, can shut up and say thank you. So how exactly is this faith-based immigration policy working out so far? Well, let's see. We watched dreamers blockade Disneyland. We watched them harass lawmakers outside their homes to demand an amnesty that they have no legal right to. That's ominous enough, but there are other signs. Here's one. Linda Sarsour. She's a professional activist. She's the child of Palestinian immigrants. You would think that she'd be grateful for the opportunities this country has given her family, especially considering where they came from. But no. Linda Sarsour is not grateful. She hates our country and the people who founded it. Washington, Sarsour denounced America and then went on to attack Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer for the color of his skin. What?
First of all, I'm going to interject something here. From a mayor to any elected official in any state in the Union of the U.S. of America should not be sitting in the seat. Nobody. Unless they're born here. And by born Americans. Not even legalized. I'm serious. People that have been born here, second generation born, not first generation, second generation. They kind of had it right in the beginning, but they should have thought about restricting all of Congress and the senators, each one of their seats to limited terms. Same with the limited terms of the president, and a little bit more stricter rules for who can get in there. It's just like with the cops. The standard's been so lowered through the last 30 to 40 years. No wonder we see what we see. I mean, it's no shit because the standard was dropped so bad to make it equal and fair for everybody because people were getting butthurt. This is no shit what I'm saying. I watched it happen. I have people in law enforcement that saw this happen because people couldn't qualify. They had some very strict requirements to become a police officer, and good reason. And I mean good reason why. And if we're going to have somebody toting a gun around out on the streets that could do damage to people, wouldn't you want them to have a very strict criteria that on the hiring? I mean, super strict. And if they can't pass it, it doesn't matter if you're a woman or you're minority or you're white or you're fucking purple. If you can't pass those strict fucking rules that they are requiring you to pass, that's just tough shit. It has nothing about your feelings or whatever. And it shouldn't be by ratio of the culture. Everything is so ridiculous, and it's getting more ridiculous because it's not about individual people anymore. Everything isn't about merit anymore. It's all about feelings. If you're going to hurt somebody's feelings, you know what? The results of all this is going to be tremendously bad, and it's manifesting right now. And a lot of us are calling it out. But I don't see anywhere it's going to stop because we have more people they just keep opening the wound up so that it can't heal. Like this woman and like many people that are in government right now. They're actually for the wrong people and not even their own citizens. So no more dual citizens should be able to hold office whatsoever. If you hold citizenship in another country, then we're going to consider you that your allegiance may be there too. I don't care which country it is, or even if it's an ally. Second for all, nobody should be able to be in office unless they're a second-born generation in this country, and that should be a fact. Next thing is the qualifications and their background should state it all, and then by merit. Okay? If you're just a cocktail waitress, you're not going to get in there. I'm sorry. You have no business trying to even run. And then fifth, that if there is an allegation being made towards you of a crime, you're going to have to step down off that seat and tell that you've proved yourself not guilty, okay? Or proved your innocence. But in the meanwhile, since you do have an allegation being made against you, and you are a representative of the people, and that would disqualify you to hold that seat right there. And we need to start prosecuting these people that are violating their oaths in the office and do exactly the way that the law stated for violation, which is treason, okay? Which the penalty comes with that is death. Either two things, hanging by rope or shot, okay? They get that choice, which one that they get to be terminated from. And we're letting this, us, the people, by us not demanding these laws to be upheld and forcefully met with force if there is resistance with it. I know that sounds hardcore, but if we're going to have these rules, shouldn't we play by them? And we're not playing by them. We're playing by emotions, what feels good today and what feels good tomorrow. So it's not about what's feeling good. What's right is wrong, and what is wrong is right. That's what we're at right now. What is wrong is right. There's quite a few people that are holding office right now. I would call it the majority of them are oath violators. That's a fact. I'm not going to get into names, but let's finish this up now.
Watch this.
I'm talking to Chuck Schumer, who's also from Brooklyn. I'm tired of white men negotiating on the backs of people of color and communities like ours. But I also remember that I live in a country that was founded on the extermination of indigenous people. You have a fascist in the highest office of this land who is running ICE, which has always been a rogue agency. But now they're acting like the Gestapo, going and picking up people in the middle of the night.
Notice the cheers from the crowd. A lot of people agree with Linda Sarsour, and that should make you nervous. We've invited millions and millions of people into this country in recent years. There are now more immigrants in America right now than at any time in the history of the country. Is America more united than ever before? Is it stronger? Please. It's just the opposite, and everyone knows it. Maybe that's because our elites welcome immigrants by telling them how horrible America is and how bigoted its native population. Our immigrants believe that. Why wouldn't they? It's not their fault, it's ours. We're creating a lot of Linda Sarsours. This is a recipe for civil war. Diverse countries need a reason to stick together. They don't do it organically. Our elites ought to be staying up late, night after night, every night, trying to figure out what that reason is. Why should we hang together? A shared language, a shared culture, a shared set of core beliefs? Pick one. Our ruling class rejects all of those.
So here we are, back again, like I was saying. He was right. Right now, here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. The tide is there. It all depends on how we're going to deal with this tide. Is if we don't deal with it soon, we won't be able to deal with it at all. That's what's reading between the lines. It's in a manifestation. Better start picking sides. And I mean that.